Here's a wonderful exercise for you. When this session is over, take a piece of paper and begin to write out your dream list. Let your mind float freely. Imagine that you have no limitations. Imagine that you have all the time, all the money, all the resources, all the intelligence, all the education, all the experience, and all the contacts in the world. Imagine that you could do, be, or have anything in your life. Now, write down everything you would want in your life if you had no limitations whatsoever on your potential. Be sure to decide what is right before you decide what is possible. Don't fall into the loser's trap of shooting yourself in your own foot by thinking of all the reasons why it's not possible before you even begin writing. Put the word possible aside for now and just allow yourself to dream. One of the qualities of leaders in every field is that they have vision. They allow themselves to dream and see a vision of what could be rather than allowing themselves to get stuck with what is at the present moment. I meet countless men and women all over America who have risen to great heights from humble beginnings. Many of them even came from foreign countries where they had no advantages or help whatsoever. But the one thing that they did have was dreams, and they believed that they had the ability to achieve their dreams. Because they intensely believed it and were excited about doing whatever was necessary to move toward their dreams, they activated all of the mental laws, and in no time at all, everyone around them was talking about how lucky they were to be so successful. Once you've finished your dream list, take another sheet of paper and write today's date at the top. Then, write down at least 10 goals that you want to accomplish in the next 12 months. This is one of the most powerful exercises I've ever learned in my whole life. It changed my life when I began using it many years ago. I wasn't really sure that it would work when I began toying with it, but all it cost me was a few minutes and a piece of paper, and my whole life has been different ever since. When you make out a list of 10 goals that you want to accomplish in the next 12 months, you move yourself automatically into the top 3% of living Americans. Since only 3% of adult Americans will ever write down their goals, you have joined the elite by the very act of writing down 10 things you want on a piece of paper. Now, if all you did was to put that sheet of paper with your 10 goals away somewhere where you wouldn't find it for a year, your whole life would be different. At the end of 12 months, when you opened up that sheet of paper, you'd be astonished to find that fully 80% of the 10 goals had been achieved in the most remarkable ways. In fact, you would probably see examples of synchronicity and serendipity behind the attainment of each of those goals. You would see a remarkable string of interconnected coincidences that no one could predict or plan for. But the bottom line is this: you will have accomplished 80% of your 10 goals in ways that you cannot now even imagine. And all it costs for you to make this work in your life, to prove it to yourself, is a piece of paper, a pen, and about 10 minutes. I've given this 10-goal exercise to tens of thousands of people all over the world. I've never had anyone come back to me and say that it didn't work. In fact, many people say that their entire lives changed in as little as 30 days. And the more positive and successful you are already, the faster you will take action on this idea to write down these 10 goals. I gave a talk to a room full of high-powered sales executives not long ago. I recommended that before the end of the day, they each write out 10 goals for themselves. At the beginning of the afternoon session after lunch, I asked them how many had already written down their 10 goals. Fully 60% of the audience had already written their 10 goals at lunchtime. By the end of the day, I asked again, and I found that more than 90% of them had their goals done. And I'm quite sure that they all had their goals written before they went to bed that night. The next exercise is for you to take that list of 10 goals and go through it, asking yourself, which one goal, if I accomplish it, would have the greatest positive impact on my life? Circle that goal and write it down on the top of another sheet of paper. This becomes your major definite purpose for the time being. Remember the law of purpose. A critical luck factor says that the secret of success is constancy of purpose. By writing down 10 goals, selecting your most important goal, and deciding upon that as your major definite purpose, you have now moved into the top 1% of Americans living today. Below your goal on that sheet of paper, write out every single action that you can possibly think of that you could do now or in the future to achieve that goal. This is a very important exercise. The more different things that you write down that you could think of to help you achieve your goal, the more you will begin to believe that it is possible for you. When you write down the goal for the first time, you may have a lot of hope, but you will probably be skeptical and even critical of your own ability to achieve it. But when you begin to write down all the different things that you could do starting today, you begin to see your goal in a whole new light. As you write down idea after idea that you could use to achieve your goal, you drive your goal deeper and deeper into your subconscious mind. You begin to believe that it's possible for you. As you begin to do different things on your list, you begin to expect that you will move toward your goal. You begin to see examples of synchronicity in the events and circumstances that surround you. You feel more in control of your life. You activate your reticular cortex, and you develop an intense sensitivity and awareness to people and possibilities around you that can help you to achieve that objective. You feel more alert and aware and alive. You have more energy and focus. You're more clear and positive. And all it takes is a piece of paper and a few minutes of your time. There are many differences between winners and losers. The loser always hears a piece of advice and asks, "What if it doesn't work?" But that's the wrong question. The right question for you to ask is, "What if it does?" You see, if it doesn't work, all it costs you is a piece of paper. Of course, you would probably have to be an extremely determined negative person to stop this exercise from working in spite of yourself. However, the fact is that it does work, and it works faster than you could imagine. A financial advisor attended my seminar in Phoenix, Arizona on a Saturday morning. He flew back to Houston that afternoon. The following Thursday, he phoned my office and spoke to my secretary. Then he wrote me a letter in some detail, which told what he had done after he had left the seminar. This is what happened to him. He said that he'd heard about goals many times before, but he had never thought about writing them down. He decided that as a result of my recommendation, he would write down 10 goals for the next 12 months, which he did. He said that by Sunday night at 7 o'clock, in less than 48 hours, he had already accomplished 5 of the 10 one-year goals he had set for himself, and these were both financial goals and family goals. So he quickly wrote out 5 more goals so that he had a new, complete list of 10 goals. By Thursday evening at 5 o'clock, when he called my office 4 days later, he had already accomplished 5 more of his new list of 10 goals. In his letter he wrote, "I can quite honestly say that I accomplished more in 6 days with clear written goals than I had honestly expected to accomplish in an entire year. I was simply amazed." In the final analysis, all the process of goal setting boils down to the specific actions that you are going to take now, today, and every day to achieve your goals. Once you have your goals written out, there are a series of powerful mental techniques that you can use to accelerate your progress toward your goals and to move your goals more rapidly toward yourself. The law of accelerating acceleration is a key luck factor in this area. This says that whatever you are moving toward is moving toward you as well. As you begin to move toward your goal, you'll be frustrated at how slow it seems to be. And the bigger your goal, the further away it will seem. You will have to work at it a long time before you see any progress at all. But this is all part of the process of goal attainment. The 20-80 rule applies to the law of accelerating acceleration. It says that in the first 80% of the time that you are working toward your goal, you will only cover about 20% of the distance. However, if you keep on keeping on, you will accomplish the final 80% of your goal in the last 20% of the time that you spend working toward it. Many people work for weeks, months, and even years toward a big goal and see very little progress. They lose heart and give up. But what they didn't realize is that they had laid all of the groundwork necessary and were almost at the takeoff point where they would begin to move at an extraordinary speed toward their goal, and their goal would begin to move at an extraordinary speed toward them. The law of accelerating acceleration applies to almost every big goal that you set for yourself. Take your major goals and write them down in the form of personal, present tense, positive affirmations on a series of 3x5 index cards. This is an incredibly powerful exercise. Again, it's like jamming your foot onto the accelerator of your own life. For example, you could write, "I weigh 156 pounds" on one card. "I earn $50,000 per year" on another card. "I speak Spanish fluently and well" on another. Whatever your goals are, write them down in large letters on 3x5 index cards and carry the cards around with you. Then read and reread these goal cards each morning and each evening, when you get up and before you go to bed. As you read these goals, visualize and imagine the goal as if it were already attained. Get a clear mental picture of your goal as a reality. See it as vividly and as clearly as you possibly can. And here's the kicker. Combine the mental picture of your goal with the same feeling that you would expect to enjoy if your goal were already a reality. As you create a mental picture of that beautiful car you want to drive, create the feeling or emotion that you would enjoy of pride, happiness, satisfaction, pleasure as you drove away in that car. Many top salespeople have told me that the way they used this exercise was to visualize being the top salesperson for the company and winning the award at the National Sales Convention. They visualized and imagined themselves walking up onto the stage and receiving the award from the president. They heard the audience. They created the feeling of pride and satisfaction that they would enjoy when they attained that award. And over, these people became the top performers in their organizations. Another tremendous luck factor is contained in the principle of attention, or the law of concentration. The law of concentration states that whatever you dwell upon grows and increases in your world. The more you think about, talk about, visualize, and emotionalize a desired goal, the more of your mental capacity works to draw that goal toward you and to draw you toward that goal. The more clear you are about your goals, the more you write them and rewrite them, the more you plan them and work on them, the more you activate all of your mental powers. You create a force field of energy around yourself that causes wonderful things to happen to you. You attract amazing opportunities and possibilities that other people think of as luck. The fact that you are listening to this means that you're already in the top 10%, perhaps the top 5% of people living today. You are among what has been called the talented 10th. You're a member of the elite. You're the kind of person who is constantly learning and growing. You are in a special class, almost all by yourself. You are in the winner's circle. And it doesn't matter where you are in life or how much you're earning today. All that matters is where you're going.